the human brain is wired to respond to imperfections as signs of life, not death. A crack in the wood signals use. A typo suggests humanity. These flaws are not flaws at all. They're proof that something has lived through time and touched it back. Yet what happens when we can't tell which things were born with character and which had it passed it on? The line between authentic experience and manufactured nostalgia begins to blur until even our memory becomes a product. Roland Barthes described photography as a message without a code, a snapshot of reality that says this has been, in his view. Photographs are uniquely anchored in time and space, offering an unchallengeable truth. He called it the having been there, a kind of historical proof that cannot be refuted. It's what makes old family photos feel so emotionally potent. They don't just show people, they prove their existence. But now imagine an AI generating a photo that looks like it was taken in the 1970s. Sepia tones, grainy film texture, even weathering effects. It's not this has been. It is that could have been. The image does not document reality. It simulates plausibility. This new breed of artifice doesn't just mimic memory, it fabricates it. And in doing so, it undermines the very idea that photographs are proof of presence. Barthes' punctum, that detail in a photograph which pierces the viewer, something personal and unspoken, is being algorithmically injected into fake images to make them more convincing. What happens when the emotional resonance of an image can be manufactured? When nostalgia becomes not a feeling, but a feature, sold as a filter or a texture. The commodification of memory begins here with our acceptance that digital approximations are emotionally valid stand-ins for real lived experience.
Meta is not just spending more on AI. It is paying for that push with layoffs. The company told employees it plans to cut about 10% of its workforce, roughly 8,000 people, while its AI spending this year jumps to $135 billion. That is the part that matters. This is not a clean innovation story.
In 1986, MIDI revolutionized music creation by unifying electronic instruments for the first time, empowering musicians to compose with unprecedented precision and creativity, marking a pivot.
Back in the 80s, MIDI opened up new possibilities for music production, but it also exposed a problem no one had yet named it. Digital life lacked soul. So engineers began adding randomness to drum tracks and shifting note velocities, slightly so beats didn't feel robotic. This was not just technical adjustment. It was an early admission that machines needed flaws in order to pass as human. We have a new human being, and that's Chris Potter of Memetics Cooperation. This is the sound of software pretending to be human again. The deeper issue isn't deception, it's normalization. When every digital surface wears a patina of age, we stop questioning what feels authentic and just assume something must be old if it looks like it should be. Instagram filters don't add grain for nostalgia. They add it to trigger trust. Our brains are hardwired to associate certain textures with truth. The soft decay of film, the uneven tone of a vinyl record. These aren't just design choices. They're psychological triggers repackaged as user experience features. Now, AI image generators like Midjourney offer vintage looks on tap. Another layer in an arms race of deception we never knew we were winning.
We have a new human being, and that's Chris Potter of Memetics Corporation, a new synthesizer, the Yamaha DX100, and a new computer, the Commodore Amiga.
Neil Postman warned that Technopoly replaces human judgment with machine logic. And now our feelings are under its spell too. When nostalgia is no longer a private memory, but an algorithmic product. We're not just being sold the past. We're being trained to crave the simulation over the real thing. The result, a world where sentiment itself becomes performative.